Taking you beyond the news, this is Reporters, our showcase of the best investigative reporting here on France 24. This week, the economic shock shaking the motor economy of the East. We're going to Japan, where the world's top car makers announced its first ever loss. Toyota is, of course, the maker of the Prius, as well as other well-known models like the Corolla, the Carina and the Aygo. The €3.3 billion plunge in Toyota's business has been put down to the financial crisis. The people of Nagoya had until now managed to miss out on much of the Japanese financial crisis they've had there, which has predated very much this current world recession that we're in, due to the strong business generated by the Toyota brand. But now the bottom has fallen out of the car market and everyone is being hit. Our report is by Nathalie Touré and Julien Alric.
It is May Day in Nagoya City. Japan has never formally celebrated the holiday by giving workers a day off. Still, several hundred people have gathered in this downtown park. In this global economic crisis, Labor Day means more here in this region than anywhere else in Japan.
It's in our Aichi region, where so many plants working for Toyota exports are rounded up, that the largest number of temporary job cuts have taken place. Since the end of last year, many workers have lost their housing and their daily life has become very difficult. There are so many of them. This is a real social crisis. Here's to this 80th May Day Banzai.
On stage, unionists and members of the Communist Party stand united behind a same motto.
Our biggest aim this year is to put an end to both temporary and permanent job cuts.
To keep jobs, the solution they propose is to redistribute the wealth Toyota accumulated in past years. Protesters begin to march as a band starts playing the May Day song, the Internationale. Toru Sakai parades under Fura Union's banner. This union was created 10 years ago, but only has 250 members. Until the crisis began, it had been very difficult for trade unions to make their voices heard.
Until then, the media have never criticised Toyota or the company's economic model. But ever since temporary workers started getting laid off, they've become more critical. Until now, it was very difficult to criticise Toyota in this region.
Toyota here is an empire. To fully understand its influence, one has to drive an hour away from Nagoya to Toyota City, named after the car maker 50 years ago. 2 steps away from the city council stands the statue of Kiichiro Toyoda. The son of the Toyota Group's founder watches over the city's 400,000 inhabitants. This tribute to a beloved benefactor seems to stand a little less tall these days, with the city's finances reeling.
25% of our city's revenue come from corporate income tax. Last year, this accounted for 44.2 billion yen. But this year, it only comes to 1.6 billion yen. That's a 96% drop. We are now in a situation where we almost have no revenue at all. To protect companies' privacy, I cannot tell you the exact amount of their taxes. But according to local newspapers, Toyota itself counts for 70% of this corporate tax revenue.
Toyota City stretches as far as the eye can see. The giant car maker's influence can be seen in nearly every panoramic view, its headquarters, its research center, and its huge factories. But since last November, one thing you see a lot less of are the Toyota trucks loaded with new vehicles bound to sell domestically and abroad. And when Toyota slows its output, it slams on the brakes for this entire region. Before the crisis, 80% of the local workforce was employed by the car industry. Toyota spreads orders out among more than 400 subcontractors. Takeo Asada allows us inside his factory. He's a subcontractor's subcontractor and manufactures electric parts.
Here's the board. Every day we write the type of parts we have to make, according to the orders we get. Depending on this, we adjust our output. This is our planning, so to say. Last year was filled with numbers. There were no blanks, and none of these vacation days either. When you see empty spaces here, that means that we're not needed.
Takeo has suffered from the Toyota shock as early as November, when orders suddenly dropped 50%. A hard blow for his 15-worker factory. Still, he managed to keep all of them by implementing work-sharing programs and receiving financial aid from the government for companies who try to save jobs.
The government doesn't directly pay for the wages. Our company makes a request, and the government pays us the equivalent of 80% of the wages. The amount is estimated according to the amount of wages we paid last year, then recalculated at a daily rate.
This factory is an exception. In several cases, temporary workers saw their jobs cut, even at the highest level. As early as November, Toyota announced the company would not renew contracts for 3,000 workers, half of its temporary workforce. This young man is one of them. We'll call him Shinzo as he wishes to remain anonymous. He and a friend drive us to a place which, in his eyes, became a symbol of the Toyota shock.
In this station, a 25-year-old temporary worker threw himself under a train soon after he was fired. People in the area heard about the tragedy and began saying that it is no longer acceptable to lay off temporary workers.
Shinzo has also lost his job and, along with it, the housing provided by the company. He used to live in a tiny studio apartment in this packed cluster of buildings. When he used to work at Toyota's Kiura factory, his contracts were continuously renewed for nearly 3 years, until one day he was asked to sign his own letter of resignation.
The form has changed recently. Until then, one would fill his name out by hand. But from now on, the Human Resources Department fills it in directly by computer. And we only need to put our seal. To be honest, I had no desire to fill in this form, much less sign it. But I was told that it was a matter of respecting the terms of my contract. My boss told me, "You have to sign." They persuaded me.
There was little Shinzo could do. Tonight, in order to comfort him, a few friends have organized a farewell drinks party. Tomorrow, Shinzo will leave for the Kyushu area, where he was born.
Here's to a world where young people will have hope. Cheers.
During these 2 years and 11 months, you did really well.
In front of the local employment agency, the waiting line speaks volumes about the region's job shortage. KG Edison was one of the very first to arrive this morning. He was born in Brazil to parents who are ethnically Japanese. It is 8:30 a.m. The doors open. Unemployed people hurry inside. One line is dedicated to foreigners. Most of them come from Brazil, like KG Edison did. Thousands of Brazilians left their home country to come work here in the car factories. KG lost his job 2 months ago.
So this ad is for a job in Korea, in a gas station. Now, turning the page, there is a spot on an assembly line in the Midori area. And this ad here is for checking the quality of manufactured lenses. His name is Ito Keiji. At the end, please add Edison. Yes, he does own a permanent resident permit and a driving license.
So how did it go?
I got an appointment, but I don't know if it's going to work out.
If he gets the job, Keiji will only earn half of his former wage, but he has no choice. In Japan, unemployment compensation usually lasts just 3 months, 11 months at the most. A very short period in a time when the job market is saturated with applicants.
The number of job offers has plummeted by half. Many people now apply for the same job, sometimes 40 or 50 candidates. It's also very difficult to find a job with the same wage level as before. Jobs paying 300,000 yen a month don't exist anymore. Therefore, more people are looking for lesser paid jobs or jobs in areas they would not otherwise have considered. Even so, it is very difficult. Currently, out of 10,000 people looking for a job every month, only about 300 will find one.
The car industry's slowdown has rippled through the entire local economy. Passers-by have become scarce. There are very few people spending their money in shops, restaurants and cafes. Within a few months, Keisuke and his wife lost 2/3 of their customers, who were mainly factory employees.
Shops, restaurants, supermarkets, everyone is affected. We felt the effect of the oil shock a while back, but this time it seems that the base of things has weakened and that everything is collapsing. It is the first time we've been in this kind of situation.
Keisuke and his wife hope they'll make it until things go back to normal. They have little savings, but how many won't make it? We meet Keiji Edison again in a shop selling Brazilian goods. His job interview was not successful, and he's brooding.
When I got fired, 80 other Brazilians were laid off the same day. Foreigners are laid off first, then Japanese temp workers. We get the feeling the Japanese government wants foreigners to leave because authorities are now paying for one-way tickets back to their country of origin. But once you accept the ticket money, you can never come back to Japan again.
Flights to Brazil departing from Nagoya are reportedly full for the next 3 months. The unemployed foreigners' exodus has begun. Some Japanese people are also leaving the region, but many stay, fearing that once back home they'll have to face reproach and shame from the families and the rest of society. Still, their situation is miserable. Many former temporary employees have no right to unemployment payments because they did not contribute to the system in the first place. With no money and no home, they end up here, under this Nagoya bridge, lining up for the soup kitchen handouts.
Before losing my job, I used to live in the place the company provided me with, but I was kicked out. So I lived here, like this. I've never known a life like this before. The others have given me some advice to help me try and make it on my own. This is where I am at now.
If you do not manage to find a new job, will you go back to Tohoku, your native region?
No, I cannot go back. As for assistance, well, getting minimum unemployment benefit is quite quick, but finding a job on my own means a lot to me. Applying for minimum benefit is the last resort for most people.
How long will they hang on? Toyota declined our interview request, saying the company was not making comments on the drop in sales over the past several months. Toyota also refused to comment on local media reports, saying that output could pick up again in May. But here everyone's waiting to know which strategy Toyota will implement. A whole region's future depends upon it.
Well, let's go now to Natalie Toure, who put that report together. Natalie, thank you for joining us there in Tokyo. The region surrounding the Toyota business, you know it well, you've reported from there before. This is another return there for you. How would you describe the difference that you've seen now?
I think the main difference is that it would not have been possible to do such a report, for example, 6 months ago, because people were very shocked by the fact that they had been laid off. People were also a bit frightened to talk. And now, somehow, unfortunately also, because the crisis is lasting, we see many more people losing their job and people want to talk about their situation. Also, people do not mind too much talking about the way they were laid off, either by Toyota directly or by its subcontractors. And this means that people are okay now to somehow criticize Toyota, and that was something they would not have done before either.
Japan as a society is notoriously against trade unions. Are we seeing any changes now that people are losing their jobs? Are they saying, okay, that's it now, let's now get together, let's organize?
Well, it's true, and we've seen this during this May Day in Nagoya. It's true that now trade unions are getting heard. They have a message, and people are more eager to listen to it. But still, really, you have to see what happened during this May Day. Trade unions seem very motivated, but very shy at the same time. When they begin to march, when people begin to march, they march one next or one behind another. They stop at stop signs, so we are really very, very far away from any revolution. I think maybe the most interesting to say is that now trade unions are heard, their message is put inside some newspapers, and that was not the case before, because Toyota is the main announcer, the main advertiser in Japan. So before that, in the newspapers or on TV, you would not hear any people criticizing Toyota.
Natalie Touré there, who put the report together with Julien Alaric there, wrapping up this edition of Reporters here on France 24. You, of course, can find out more via our internet site, www.france24.com. We'd be interested to hear what you think about that report. That was Reporters. You're watching France 24. Do stay with us.